Hey, it's Mark Lanier with your video thought for the day. This week I'm talking about spiritual disciplines, things that we can do to enhance our spiritual walk with God. So Monday I talked about fasting. Yesterday I talked about meditation from the perspective of the Old Testament, this word hagah, which kind of conveys this deep guttural contemplation of a matter that produces some almost lionish growl or something. But today I want to talk about it from the Greek perspective of the Greek vocabulary. So that means we're looking at the New Testament, but also the Greek translation of the Old Testament, which was so common in use in the time of Paul and the writings of the New Testament. So the New Testament word that's often translated meditate, or the Greek word I should say, is melatao. It's a verb, but it's got an extra added element beyond the Old Testament concept of just musing on something in a way that produces this deep guttural, contemplative, almost growl. So the New Testament, or the Greek idea behind melatao adds a very important element to this contemplative thought process. So over and over and over, you'll read about the idea of chewing on or thinking about or dwelling on this law of the Lord or whatever it is you're meditating upon. But when you get to this Greek word, it's got an added element of thinking about it with a plan of taking deliberate action. In other words, you're not just musing on a matter, but you're working with it. You're working with it with a plan to cultivate or develop or pursue some course. You're taking pains with it. You're practicing it, and not just in your brain, but in your life and what you do. So this idea of meditate from the Greek word melatao is a step beyond, in a sense, the Hebrew. It gives at least another perspective on the Hebrew, that you're not simply deliberating upon something, but you're deliberating with a plan of a course of action, or looking carefully at a course of action, at how you do, not simply think. So, for example, a couple of passages out of the New Testament that use melatao, it's used in Acts to translate David saying, "Why do the nations rage and why do the people plot in vain?" That word plot is melatao. It's think about it with a plan towards what you're going to do. It's an important word that Paul uses in 1 Timothy 4 when he's writing to his protege, and he's telling him not just to study and to apply himself to learning, but he says also practice these things, immerse yourself in them. That word practice he uses, melatao. It means to meditate with an idea of deliberate action. So when we look at so many passages that speak in the Bible of meditation, we need to do so with an idea towards how does it affect our life. You know, when I was a kid, there was this TV show called Kung Fu, and it starred David Carradine, and he was a Shaolin monk who had fled China and come to the U.S. And I think a combination of that show and maybe people getting into yoga and other Eastern mystic religions and practices made me think that meditation must be something really cool and worth pursuing. This you sit there in a yoga stance, cross legs and do your hands and give your arms and all. And I was curious what biblical meditation was, and it seemed to me to be some elusive, really cool something that I wanted to pursue. So it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I realized that you can do a word study. And you can actually look at what these words mean when they talk in the Bible about meditation, and from that you can grow. And I found out it's not something mystical at all. In fact, it's one of the most practical things in the world. To meditate is to spend time thinking about, with a plan towards letting it affect the choices you make. So I want to spend today meditating on God, meditating on His Word. I want to think about Him in ways that not just produce this visceral, guttural moan, but in ways that change what I'm going to do today, that allow me to carefully sculpt my life, influenced by these things I'm thinking about. That's the spiritual discipline of meditation. I hope it blesses you. I hope you have a great day today and another spiritual discipline tomorrow.